does a tune entitled Centerline, featured on alto saxophone Donald Waynard and on the trumpet Janelle Sweeney. Next we're going to, next is up, Sink or Swing. Oh, this is going to feature on piano Bella de Guzman, almost forgot. Sink or Swing. Bella de Guzman on piano. This is Acres Jazz Band A also. We meet before school just at, like at Liberty. We get here at 7:15 in the morning. Our B band hasn't started yet. It's going to be starting up in December. And we have about 33, I think, in the B band this year, so it's a lot of kids. Here at Acres School, we have about 50 students enrolled in the jazz program. And for a school, 6th or 8th grade of 300 students, that's a pretty large percentage. This next selection for you is titled Dream. I'm trying to fill some time as one of the drummers from back to get brushes for the other drummer. And this is written by Johnny Mercer, arranged by Mike Story. The first note on the tenor saxophone part is a C. And this song was written back in 1944. Oh, he's back, so we can actually play the song now. This is entitled Dream. Okay, we're going to pick things up a little bit. Okay, with a piece called Groove Bug, we always have to go off what the baritone saxophone player has with the standards, and we'll dispute the first alto, I think. But we are playing Groove Bug. Okay, and so a feature on alto saxophone, Donald Wengert again, and on the baritone saxophone, Eric Kingsbury. Oh, it's not, it's Sonny. Sonny Quinde doesn't even play the saxophone, he plays the trombone. So it's going to feature Sonny on trombone and Eric on the baritone saxophone, I think. This will also feature Josh on the tambourine. Thanks for Pioneer and Liberty for coming out and joining us here at the Acre Stage. And going through all the paperwork and everything else that has to happen so you can come on base. We really appreciate it. We have some schools that won't even come out and play a ball game here because they don't want to do the paperwork. So we really appreciate the effort that you guys made to come out here. So thank you very much for that. I'd also like to thank Mr. Sweeney and Mrs. Kirchman for being here tonight, helping out, getting hot dogs and things ready for people, getting chairs. We had parent conferences today, so it's kind of a mad scramble this afternoon to get everything ready to go. I thank Mr. Parker for being here from our sister school over at Boychart Elementary School and supporting the jazz program here at Acres School. So our last one for you is entitled Malagueña, and this is going to feature Donald Wenger on alto saxophone and Dan Turcutt on tenor saxophone. And we'll switch around between Latin and swing and back to Latin and have a little conga solo by Josh at the end. So I hope you enjoyed this Malagueña.